Hello, welcome to the Film Vomit Podcast, an extension of the Vomit series of podcasts. As always, we're your hosts, Mac Taylor and Cole Selby, and today we are talking about the redheaded stepchild of the Jurassic Park franchise, Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
Cole, what is your history with this movie?
This is I think it was actually the first Jurassic Park movie I watched. Honestly, it was one of the few VHS taped things that I had. It's I do remember watching it a lot just because I remember that man's just mustache. I remember that man's mustache so well, so vividly. But yeah, it's like it was the first Jurassic Park movie I watched, so I guess I'll have like fonder memories of it, I guess, especially being really into dinosaurs as a kid. But watching it back now, I watched it actually with my fiance, Tequila, and that rewatching it as an adult and as I guess a more cynical person with higher standards. I still enjoyed it. I still enjoy the movie. I'll give it that.
There are a lot of
things. There's a lot of
that heart.
There's a lot of things to not like.
It's crazy how big of a gap there is, like, in quality between Lost World and this.
Yeah, like it's there's definitely things I'll talk about later, but for like overall, I have fonder memories of the movie, growing up, and that still kind of sticks with me, nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia keeps me from really disliking this movie, but there's also a couple of key things that we'll talk about here in a minute that also keep it going, because it's not like horrible. Like, it's not, we've covered some trash on this podcast, so like this is fine compared to a lot of those movies. Pretty much most of the Evil Bong and Ginger Dead Man franchises.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll go ahead, we'll jump right in, talk about JP3. So we start out with Eric and his stepfather. They're parasailing very close to Dino Island, which is a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why anyone thought this was okay.
Like this is definitely like an under the table gig for some dude. You fucking paid some random people, say, yo, I'll give you all this money if you fly me real close.
Because he's like, I'll get you a little closer, and I'm like, maybe we shouldn't be getting that close to Dino Island.
This does not seem like a legitimate tourist thing that people do.
It's definitely under the table.
Yeah.
But extremely dangerous. And then we see why, because basically they like go in like this misty patch, this foggy patch, and then the crew is gone. They have been eaten.
By something, I guess.
It's hinted at that it is the Spinosaurus.
Yeah, but
it could have literally been anything.
Yeah, I can accept the Spinosaurus doing that, but it's just I don't like it if that's the reason. I don't like that. I think
because later we do see it swimming in the water, so we know it can. So, and then maybe it was just out there swimming around, and
it's just
picked him off.
It's no screams at all, Well,
they were up pretty high. You probably wouldn't be able to hear it that well. But they just feel like a tug at the rope, and then they're just dead.
This is this is just a major. I just don't like this part. I don't like the whole thing that happened.
So then the boat crashes, and they get stranded on Dino Island, and then we get a quick cut to a kid playing with dinosaur stuff.
Yeah.
And we get this fake out where it's like Alan talking to this kid, and you're like, oh, they finally had the kid. And then we meet Dr. Sattler's husband, this random fucking guy. And it's like, oh, what happened? And they never say what happened.
Like, for me personally, like, I kind of enjoy the idea of, two people that like had a romantic connection, but it just didn't work out, but are still like, like connected in some way, still friends in a way. Like, I do like how they show like maturity in that aspect, like how they can be so comfortable with it. And I do think that like avenue of storytelling, I feel like that could have worked really well.
We don't dive
in another movie.
Yeah,
it could have worked extremely well in another movie, because it was set up, it was built up for them to actually be together, like, because it was a major thing in Jurassic Park that they connected through this experience. And
Grant's whole thing in Jurassic Park was learning to like kids, because Ellie wanted kids and he didn't. And maybe there could have been a payoff in this movie if Ellie goes to the island with Grant and they have like this, like, they discuss what happened, and we kind of dive in a little more. But really, this is all we get of Ellie pretty much in the movie.
We don't get anything else. We don't like hear about I guess we hear about what her husband does for like a living, I think. But, like, he's such to the side, he might as well just be part of the background and not say anything.
At one point he's like, I'll just let you guys have this conversation, and leaves the scene.
Fucking simp.
And Alan's still very much dinosaur minded. The events at Isla Nublar have definitely changed his perspective, but he's still the dinosaur guy.
Like, I mean, you would expect that, going through such like a traumatic event like that, it would change a person.
And him and Ellie discuss how smart raptors were, and that they could communicate, which they already knew that because they saw them do that in Jurassic Park.
Like, I can believe that would have like sparked the idea of it for him, and like he's like just now for some reason
piecing
like
it
so far later
like
thinking about like, I mean, sure, it's kind of weird.
And then he's like giving this big speech about this thing he just discussed with Ellie, where he's just like, talking about the raptors, and he's like, does anybody have any questions? And a bunch of hands go up, and he's like, not about the events of Jurassic Park or San Diego, which I was not at. And pretty much the guy was just like, go, what happens, if the dinosaurs in the island aren't on the island anymore? Aren't they still animals? And Grant's like, all InGen did was create theme park monsters. It's like that fun speech. And he's like, I'll never go back there. And clearly he's going to go back there.
Like, I do find it kind of like real, like a little bit more, like a little bit realistic and funny that most of the people would want to ask questions about his dealings with Jurassic Park. I do chuckle at that a little bit. But I don't think I don't think everyone would have like been there just for that. But it's the thing is, like, it's like what he's saying isn't wrong. It's just, it's not for his character to say so.
Grant left Jurassic Park not hating the dinosaurs.
But like he loved I feel like he actually loved seing them.
Because as they're leaving in the helicopter, he looks out at like the thing. Like, there's still beauty in these the whole point of Jurassic Park is the dinosaurs aren't the real villains here. Especially in Lost World, like there were clear cut villains. And then the third one, they're like, no, the dinosaurs are horrible. It's like,
yeah.
okay.
I could believe, the argument of, genetically modified monsters, but coming from, fucking Dr. Grant, like it doesn't, I don't feel like he would have actually thought that. It like have someone else say that.
Malcolm could have said that in a way.
Yeah. Like have someone else say that, and I would have believed it more, but it really isn't in his character to hate them at all. Like he loves dinosaurs and he loves the idea of them. Like it's just it's a strange shift.
Yeah. So then we meet
him.
Cooper, Nash, and Udesky. They're like a mercenary team. And they blow up a plane with a dinosaur face. But I'm like, okay, that's an empty cargo plane. Like, you blew it up. But
you gotta get the explosion quota.
Michael Bay wrote this scene. And then we meet Billy, who is one of Grant's diggers, who is like flirting with this girl through dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't tell what's bone and what's rock. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't tell? Like, you can see it. That's the fucking skeleton.
I could show you my bone.
And it's crazy that she does. Like, you're a fucking dinosaur scientist, and you don't know what bone and not bone is.
Like, are you just like some like fucking random ass volunteer? Like for the day, it's like, yeah, I'll come and fucking like sweep shit for you. I mean, fuck, if you like how all these people are supposed to be like, like at least like semi like professionals in some way, or like at least like university students who are like who should know a little bit.
And also they found another like full skeleton. Like, and Grant always talks about, hey, he has a hard time getting funding. He's the only man that just goes like full skeleton. He's just finding all the full dinos.
Yeah, like he would have all the funding at this point.
Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, this guy's got the fucking touch. He gets all the bones. It's crazy, but yeah, Billy's kind of flirting with her, but nothing ever comes of this because she goes away after this scene, and Billy ends up, with Grant. Also, then he's like, we have this machine that can sculpt. It's a 3D printer. And they 3D print a raptor resonating chamber, which to get this, design, they took a dog's resonating chamber and just made it really big.
Yeah.
To fit a raptor skull. So that was pretty cool. It looks really cool, and it makes like, it's kind of an interesting thing that comes out of this movie that I don't hate.
It's like it's weird, like, because today we have like super advanced 3D printers that you could just literally just buy for yourself, just cause and make.
But this was like 2001.
Yeah, like it was pretty cool. It's like stuff for then.
It's like, ooh, we can make whatever we want with this thing, and now they're like, people make Minecraft things all the time, every day, and they're 8. So so then we meet Paul Kirby, played by William H. Macy. Him and his wife went to take Grant and Billy out to dinner, but it's at a bar. And I'm like, that should be a pretty bad sign that they're not rich, like that you didn't go to an actual restaurant. You went to a fucking bar.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking bar food at all. I'm just saying that, like, you'd think if, Kirby Enterprise is supposed to be this big lucrative business, you can at least go to a fucking Olive Garden. So yeah, Paul and Amanda Kirby meet them at the bar, and they talk about, like, we want to fly over the dinosaur island and see dinosaurs from a plane. And Grant's like, you're not going to see anything from a plane. Like, we're going to get real low. Real low, and see these dinosaurs. We want you there to tell us what these dinosaurs are. I'm like, okay, if that really was your cover story, like, you could have got any dinosaur scientist to tell you what they are. You don't need Alan Grant.
Yeah.
And he's like, yep, I don't like that. I'm not going back over there.
Nope.
And Billy's like, we'll do it. We need the money. Jeez. Because William H. Macy's like, I got a blank check. Yeah. And it's a useless blank check.
Yep. Never
take a check. No. Especially when dinosaur islands are involved. You get paid in advance. Before we leave this bar, we get paid.
Yes.
So they're flying over the island, and we establish Billy's lucky bag, which is weird because Sarah also had a lucky bag. Like, yeah, like really just like ripping that one off.
Yeah, really, that really didn't need to be a part of it.
It's not a huge part of the story.
It really isn't. Like it's all just for like, it's like, hey, remember this thing in the first movie or the second movie?
It's second movie.
Sorry, I'm fucking Jesus, I'm fucking up. Hey, remember this thing from the other movie that was a thing? I mean, we're also making it a thing in this movie too. It's like, thank you, like, thanks a lot. I didn't want that.
And Billy's like, thanks for bringing me to the dinosaur island. And Grant's like, you're only here because I don't want to be alone with these people. Which is very Grant. Like, that's very on brand for Alan Grant. Yeah. And they also had this line about like, bones never run away, which is kind of, again, digs into the Ellie thing, but doesn't quite go because she's not there. So then Grant takes a little sleep, a little snooze. And we get the most memorable and weird scene in the entire franchise, where Grant's asleep and he wakes, he's in his dream, and there's no one on the plane, and he turns and there's a raptor, which looks like the raptor from that he's about to see in this island that he actually hasn't seen before. It doesn't look like the other raptors he's seen, but it's a raptor from this movie, and it goes, Alan. Yeah. Every fucking time I lose my shit when I see that.
It's like, I feel like they could have gone a lot more with like his like PTSD sort of thing. Possibly.
We didn't need this dream sequence.
Yeah. Like if they were going to do something that, like this, they should have made it a core part of the movie, not just put it in for the sake of something.
Wasn't that funny?
Yeah, like it wasn't supposed to be a humorous scene. Like, was it?
But the raptor talked. You like, can't not have comedy there.
Like, I don't think they meant it to be funny.
But it was very funny.
It like it's weird for me.
So they go, actually, he wakes up when they're flying over the island, and he's like, all right, that's a triceratops. And they're just ignoring him. So that's another sign of like, they don't care about this part. And they're like, when can we land? And he's like, I want to circle the island first. And he's like, land? Land? No, we don't land. And then Cooper punches Grant and he gets knocked out.
Yeah.
And then when they wake up, they have landed. And Amanda's on a megaphone screaming on Dinosaur Island.
Yep.
And Grant tries to tell her that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
And Amanda in this movie does a lot of really dumb things that almost get them killed.
Yeah.
But this is one.
Yeah.
Where she's just yelling and all the mercenaries run into the woods. Yeah. And then we hear gunshots and a roar. A roar we haven't heard before.
Yeah.
And that's why that's a bad idea. Nash and Udesky run back, and they all get in the plane, try to take off, and Grant's like, hey, where's Cooper? And leave it to Grant, the guy who punched him in the mouth. He's like, is he alive? Whereas everybody else is like, no, fuck that guy. We're out of here. And as they go to take off, Cooper comes out. He's really fucked up. And before the plane hits him, the Spinosaurus comes out, bites him, and they kind of nick it with the plane, which is why there's blood splatter.
Yeah. They
don't really show it that well. It's cut before you can really see it hit the Spino. Yeah. And it would kind of establish why the Spinosaurus is on their ass this whole movie, because it's pissed that they hit it with a plane.
Yeah.
But they don't really take a lot of time to establish it.
No.
And this is our first look we get at the Spinosaurus. It has a very unique design. It stands out very prevalently with the other carnivorous dinosaurs, where it's like got this like grayish black design to it, the big sail, the extended snout, and the green eyes. It's very, very distinctable. Has longer arms that it can actually use. Very cool design. What did you think of the Spinosaurus design?
I really do like it. I like how they like use it with the logo too. They changed the T-Rex head to a Spinosaurus head. I do like the change a little bit. I think it's really nice design. I do think it like ups the fear factor for it, just because it is a bit more mobile with the extra arms that it can actually use. And it actually does utilize, which is nice.
It's pretty neat. So their plane crashes because they hit a dinosaur with it. And they're like, oh, thank God that the hard part's over. I'm like, you crashed in Dino Island. The hard part has just begun.
Yeah.
And the Spino kind of pokes its head up, looks through the window, and Amanda just starts screaming. I'm like, God damn it, woman! Like, why won't you just shut up?
Yeah, she is like she's my least favorite.
Yeah,
she's my least favorite. I don't like her at all.
And so the Spino like pulls the nose of the plane off, and then as everyone's scrambling, it grabs Nash, shakes him around, and then stomps him, then eats him. So he gets a brutal death because he gets shaken about, stepped on, and then eaten.
Yeah. Rough times.
And then everyone stupidly just runs to the back of the plane.
Yeah.
When gravity takes over and they just fall. I'm like, yeah, of course. If you're like balancing, you don't just run to the one end of the plane.
Yeah.
I get there's a giant dinosaur, but he's distracted. He's got someone right now.
Yeah.
So they're on the ground of the plane, and then the Spino's like rolling it around, stepping on it. Amanda runs out for a second. It's like, what the fuck are you gonna do out there? She runs back in. It's good stuff. And then finally, as the Spino's like ripping it apart, they run around it and go out that way. A pretty unique plane sequence. It's pretty cool. There actually is a lot of like they did have a Spinosaurus animatronic that does, it was like bottom up, so they didn't have like the legs for it, so anytime you saw it move like walking, it was CG, but like it looked pretty good with the animatronic.
It did.
So they run away from the Spino and bump into a juvenile T-Rex. So just danger to danger.
Yep.
And Grant's like, all right, don't move. Everyone bolts.
Yep.
And the Rex runs into the Spino, and they have a badass dinosaur fight.
Yeah.
And the Spino kills the young Rex because it's not fully grown. Pretty unique scene. What'd you think of that sequence, Urkel?
I think it was pretty cool actually having like a big dino fight, honestly. It's pretty cool. It's I do like the signifier of just how like dangerous a Spinosaurus is. It's like, ooh, look, it took down a fucking T-Rex, like the big bads of the other movies. Like this like a tougher one, it's a tougher thing. I think the separation, like the blending between the animatronic and the CGI is a little off.
It's a little rough around the edges.
In this one specifically, so like I don't get that kind of illusion with like how real the animatronic is.
Which is crazy because this is like 8 years later. Like you should be better at it.
Like I just noticed it more. And
agreed.
and that's just kind it is kind of weird to me because like the first like with the first movie, it it looked fantastic. So I don't know. I just don't know why it stood out so much to me. But like the CGI itself looked fantastic, and the fight was great.
But the
like,
animatronics were so good though
yeah,
that it like doesn't blend as well.
Yeah. Duh. I mean, and like the visceral sound of like you know cracking the T-Rex's neck was you know, and that was like a nice meaty sound. So that was cool.
So then the Kirby's reveal their real plan is that their son and Amanda's boyfriend were the ones that were parasailing in the beginning, and they're out looking for their son. They don't really give a shit about the other guy. They're just looking for their son. And they're not actually rich. He owns Kirby's Paint and Tile Plus. So, you know, if you ever need a bathroom done, you got it.
Yeah.
And now, like, if we needed you because you've been here before. And Grant's like, no, I was on Isla Nublar. This is Isla Sorna. I've never been here. And Utesca has a great line where he's like, wait a minute, there's 2 islands with dinosaurs on them? Great stuff.
Jesus.
And Udesky's already like, all right, if we're splitting up, I'm not going with I'm going with the dinosaur people. I don't want to die. So yeah, great stuff there. Mm-hmm. You know, plot developing.
Oh yeah.
And so Grant's like, well, I'm going ashore. If we find a kid on the way to the coastline, cool. If not, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. He's probably dead.
If he's been here for 8 weeks, he's most likely dead. If we see some poop, maybe we can find him. And then they also discussed that the Spinosaurus was not on InGen's original list of dinosaurs that they were making for Jurassic Park, which means that they were illegally, because after the events of San Diego, InGen was no longer allowed to continue to make dinosaurs. And now they were making illegal dinosaurs with the Spinosaurus. And some other things like Ceratosaurus and that we'll see later in the movie, and as well as the pterodons, things like that. They also weren't on InGen's list. But the Spinosaurus is the biggest whoops that they've done so far.
Yeah.
And then also they catch Paul lying about, you know, climbing K2.
Yeah.
Where he's like, did you put base camp at 25 or 30,000 feet? And he's like, 30,000. He's like, he goes, we were pretty close to the top. And he's like, actually, you're a couple thousand feet above it.
Yeah.
So it was pretty sly by Billy.
Yeah, it was.
And then Paul and Amanda have an argument where Paul calls a Triceratops a Triceplops. Like you can't even say the name of the dinosaur right. I don't know why. It just cracked me up.
Like, jeez.
But they find the parasail.
He's just a fucking he's just middle-aged white dude.
William H. Macy is great though. Like he's a great actor, and he's a great addition to the cast. Like I'm glad if he wasn't here, this cast would be lacking more. So yeah, they find the parasail and her exoskeleton, and she's just screaming and twirling, and it's like exactly just like that.
Yeah, like just keeps going and going. She freaks out, and she like wraps herself up in her dead boyfriend's like little arms by accident because she keeps freaking out, and then she freaks out more, and then she's like twirling around in rope strings and just. And it goes on for a long time.
Someone should have hit her. Like,
stop,
stop moving, stop.
And then she starts running away, still screaming.
And then Paul's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about your boyfriend," and she's like, "I just care about our son." And it's like, damn, no one gave a shit about this guy.
Yeah, he was. I wonder
this guy.
Like, I wonder how you know, like he like how he died, like just on landing.
Maybe he like heard like got cut up a little bit on the way down or something.
Yeah.
Maybe after Eric left, an animal picked him out of the trees.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very unclear how he died.
Yeah. It's like he's all like picked off really anyway, for the most part.
Compies maybe got him.
Yeah.
So then they're like, all right, we're gonna just keep going, find the communications building. Then they find a raptor nest. And Billy's acting super sketch.
Yeah.
And Grant does not ask enough questions. So they get to the communications building, and there's a funny scene where Kirby's like trying to put money in the vending machine, which clearly is not hooked up and hasn't worked in years. Yeah. And Billy just like kicks one in, and then he goes to kick another one, and he just bounces off of it and walks away.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Pretty great stuff there. And then they see like weird like test tube dino babies, like InGen was working on that didn't get to finish. And then they see like just a raptor head like in the thing, and a man just looks at it, and then it's clearly just a raptor who is just standing on the other side.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of funny. So the raptors kind of play chicken with the door, like pushing the door back and forth. That was cool. Mm-hmm. These raptors have the quills on their head, like they actually have like some feathered designs to them. Mm-hmm. I still prefer the older designs, but these are more like accurate to what raptors would look like, especially at 2001 standing. Mm-hmm. So they're like, all right, we're just going to run into the herd because the raptors won't be able to find us. Yeah. But Udesky gets separated and mauled. And the raptors use him as bait. And Amanda almost gets herself killed going for the bait. Yeah.
But like fucking everyone else is like, no, don't do that.
Very stupid. Right. Stop doing that.
Yeah, very stupid. Like she is the one that makes like majority of the stupid decisions.
She's like determined to get herself killed on this island. Yeah, it's like the kid that keeps falling down the well in Lassie. It's like, all right, Timmy, quit playing near the fucking well. Like, stay away from the well. You'll be fine. Jesus. So Alan picks up Billy's bag in the confusion, but he is separated. And the raptors surround, but he's saved by Eric, who is alive. Yes. Somehow. He went all wild boy. He had like all these survival skills no one knew about.
Yep.
And he's been living in an old truck. And they're having some beans and chocolate. Mm-hmm. And they have this conversation like, yeah, you used to love dinosaurs. Now you're all like, man, dinosaurs are scary. And he's like, well, they tried to eat me. That really
granted, like I would also think dinosaurs are scary if you try to eat me too. Mm-hmm.
And then he has this great conversation about like the difference between astronomers and astronauts. Mm-hmm. Like astronomers spend like their whole lives studying space, but they'll never actually go to space, whereas astronauts just go to space. It's like there's people that learn and people that experience, and Grant had set out to be the one who learned, but he also ended up, he was the astronomer, then it ended up in space, and some shit's fucked up in space, and he didn't like it.
Yeah. So
there was like an interesting, thought process with that. Some speculation to be made about that. It's one of the more, things that felt like a conversation that would be in Jurassic Park and not this goofy movie that we kind of get here. So it keeps trying to do something interesting, but it'll always pull itself back from that.
At least they have scenes dedicated to it without like any distractions.
Yes, because I mean that this resonates, but then they start talking about Rex P.
Yeah, like I refuse to believe a child could get Rex P.
Just standing under a T-Rex, like catching pee in a bottle. And then they also joke about Malcolm's ego, which was fun.
Yeah, it was.
So everyone's heading to the coast, and they hear the phone beeping, and they're like, "Aha! That's my father's ringtone." So they all go to the fence. It's a happy moment. And he's like, "I heard your phone," and he's like, "Wait a minute." Yeah. Nash had my phone when and they all turn around and the Spinosaurus has been standing there the whole time and no one saw this like 40 like this gigantic multi-ton beast just hanging out by the tree line. No one saw that.
Granted, I do like the just like hit like it's like ominous figure just like staring at them as they turn
where
around.
It does like an actual predator will do, where it then breaks out into the run.
Yeah, but no
one saw it.
Nobody noticed it at all.
Like I kind of understand Eric and the Kirbys, like the reuniting, they're focused on that. But Billy and Grant, you didn't think to like look around you? Yeah. Especially Billy, you're facing the fucking thing. And you didn't say, "Oh, hey, wait a minute, there's a thing by the tree line."
Oh man. Wouldn't they have heard it too?
It should have made some noise coming out of the tree line.
Yeah,
it shakes the ground when it walks. It's the size of a T-Rex.
What? Jesus. So,
but it snuck up on him, just like the T-Rex got into the visitor center there. Just it's very sneaky.
Yep.
Ninja beasts.
Ninja Dino.
So it chases them around through the hole in the fence, busts through the fence, but they close some doors on it, which somehow, even though it busts through a fence, it can't bust through a door.
Yeah. The doors, and it's
plot armor. The door has plot armor.
Plot door.
Billy's like, "You need to give me the pack back." And Alan finds the eggs, and he's like, "You idiot! You're a dino scientist. Why did you think this was a good idea?" He's like, "Well, I thought we could sell them." It's like, we're gonna die now. We're gonna fucking die because you had to take these eggs. So then they end up in the aviary. Because there's this pretty spooky scene, actually, where Eric hears something, he thinks it's his mom, but it's a pterodon on the bridge.
Yeah.
Very effective scene, very spooky scene.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the pterodon like design and everything, and how it's
very cool
presented with like the fog and everything. It's very like tense throughout it. I really do like it.
This whole scene we're talking about here, where Eric gets picked up and dropped with the babies who are trying to like pick them apart.
Yeah.
And Billy comes with the dinosaur parasail, gets Eric out of there, but ends up getting taken down by a pterodon. Very tense, very like good scene. And they drown a pterodon with the cage that falls on it too. Good stuff here. Yeah. Good stuff. And we hadn't really seen flying dinosaurs yet in Jurassic Park. And they make an appearance here. It's very memorable. Probably, like the Spinosaurus is really cool, but they're the most like spooky of the dinosaurs that we've seen. In this movie for sure.
Yeah, they're really cool. Really cool.
So Billy's presumed dead, but he's not because the door is unlocked to the aviary, so he can escape. Don't know how he did, but he did. So they're on this like boat ride, and it's all calm. And they're like, "Oh man, poor Billy. Oh well, we're out of here." And then they're like, "Hey, the fish are swimming away. That's weird." Then it starts raining, which in Jurassic Park, when it rains, shit is about to go down. It's about to get fucking horrible.
Yeah.
The rain's out.
Yep.
And then we see a sail come up Jaws style. The Spinosaurus can swim, which we didn't know until this moment. And this is actually lifted from a scene in the original book of Jurassic Park where the T-Rex swims after the boat. So they kind of did recreate that scene here. But it's very scary because the Spinosaurus got this like, it's like dark and rainy and it's looming over them, and they have to run to this cage.
Yeah.
And Grant calls Ellie because he's like, it's all the only person I know that can help us. And her son answers, and he's like, "Get the phone to mommy." And he's like, "Hold on, I'm watching Barney. Give me a few minutes here. I will get there eventually." And I'm like, this kid is like watching Barney the dancing dinosaur as Barney the pissed off angry dinosaur is trying to eat Grant and his friends.
Yeah.
It's a very fun scene. Really enjoy this whole end scene here. And then finally Ellie gets on the phone and he just says, "The river." And she somehow knew what that meant and is able to send help for them. I don't know how, but she did.
I think he said Site B, but
all I heard was the river.
I don't like. I mean that still isn't much of a.
Not much of a clue.
No.
Especially since Ellie, not too familiar with Site B herself.
Yeah.
But Paul gets the Spino's attention because it's currently trying to rip Amanda apart. I'm like, no, yeah. let it go. This is what she wanted.
Yeah.
And then as it's about to eat Paul, they shoot a flare that, even though it was underwater, somehow works and ignites the gasoline in the water, and the Spino retreats because it was partially on fire for a second. Cool scene. Had fun with it. And then there's more marriage drama or Paul and Amanda. I'm like, I don't give a shit if they get back together or not. I just want them to get off Dino Island.
Yeah, like if it didn't work before, one a life event isn't gonna fix that. Sorry.
And then the raptors show up.
Yeah.
And they give the eggs back, and that's it. There's no real tense raptor stuff here.
Yeah, I'm like great. Got the eggs.
And they use the chamber too to kind of startle them, I guess. And then the Coast Guard and the Navy show up, and Billy's alive, and they leave.
Yeah, Billy should have been dead, by the way.
And the pterodons are loose, and that should have been like a really bad thing because they're flying in the air. They can go anywhere.
Yeah, they're gonna go roost, and destroy, fucking animal populations of islands.
It's very bad.
Mass reproduce, and then you're gonna have a fucking pterodon problem, and then you're gonna it's gonna be horrible. that should not have been like no, stop. It's not a good thing.
That's a very bad idea.
Yeah, Billy should have been dead.
Yeah, Billy should have been dead.
It would have made
I think in the original script he was dead, but they changed it. But I'm like, I just prefer if he stays dead here.
It would have made his sacrifice a sacrifice, and it would have been meaningful.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, he got miraculously saved by the fucking Coast Guard, Navy, whatever,
both.
Marines.
All of them.
All of them got saved by them as well.
Yeah, and they show up with tanks and stuff, but the dinos are gone. So we didn't even get to see a cool Navy versus dino scene.
That's just how people should just show up to the island to begin with. If you ever want to go there,
guns ablazing. Let's fucking go.
But we should not go there anyway. This is and everyone's fine. Everyone just forgets about the fucking boyfriend that got viciously killed by dinosaurs.
And Udesky and Nash,
and
Cooper.
Udesky, Nash, Cooper, who are all why did they think they were getting paid?
Yeah, they were supposed to get paid mercenary money. So
they just fucking they're gone.
Died for no reason.
Let's all forget them.
So that was JP3. The fun facts. It took 250 gallons of oatmeal for the Spino Duke.
Wow.
It's a lot of oatmeal. The pterodon and riverboat scenes were from the original, JP script. Talked about that. Crichton was going to write a third book, but couldn't think of an idea he thought was good enough to make a book.
That's probably a sign.
Kind of an indication of this movie. The song in the bar when they walk in, the song is all about being a liar and being have this big deception, which is kind of how we get introduced to the Kirby. So I think that's kind of interesting that they played that there. One of the scripts was actually about pterodons getting loose and having to hunt them down throughout the world, which would have been an interesting thing. The Spino roar was some bird noises, a lion, an alligator, and some other small noises put together. And Grant also puts his hat down to go to sleep like Indiana Jones, which was a nod to Spielberg. And the little bird animatronics really bit Trevor Morgan when he was in the thing, so that he actually had a couple of small cuts from that scene.
That's rough. I really like the little the baby pterodon.
Very scary shit to be like picked apart by babies.
Yeah.
So for the familiar faces, Paul was played by William H. Macy from Boogie Nights, the show Shameless, ER, Magnolia, and Air Force One.
I feel like most people would know him from Shameless at this point for right now.
William H. Macy is a very distinctable actor.
Yeah.
He's actually been in so many movies.
Yeah.
Amanda, played by Téa Leoni from Madam Secretary and Bad Boys. Eric, played by Trevor Morgan, was in a movie called Mean Creek, a little indie film I quite enjoyed from 2003. I just had to throw that in there. Udesky, played by Michael Jeter, who he was in Patch Adams and Mouse Hunt. But like the thing that I never knew why I couldn't make this connection before, but he was Mr. Noodle in all the Elmo shit.
Nice.
Like, I saw that. I'm like, yeah, he is Mr. Noodle. Like, that's why his face is so like in my brain.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good for him. He's still doing that character to this day.
Hell yeah.
Mr. Noodle Guy, you can buy Velociraptors.
That's a fucking change of pace.
Badass, what that is.
Hell yeah.
That ends our discussion here for Jurassic Park 3. Next time, we're doing Jurassic World, which I'm very excited to do. I love Jurassic World as a movie. I can't wait to talk about it. Can't wait to really, compare and contrast with, not the original movie. And, now that the park is open, what that looks like, and a lot of the material that came out around this time, like companion novels, like there's so much lore for Jurassic Park now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So until next time, stay safe, stay nerdy.